Hello everybody, Mike Brailsford of Brailsford Works. Thank you for joining me back on my channel. I do appreciate it. So recently Find Buy Tool had sent me a 10-inch 60-tooth saw blade that I reviewed. Please check it out, I'd appreciate it. While I was on their website checking things out, I noticed they had helical head replacement cutters for jointers, and they had my jointer, and so I decided what the heck, I wanted to give it a shot. So I purchased one with my own money, and they did not give me this, and so I am going to put this together and try it out and see how I like it. So the first thing I'm doing is installing all of the cutters. They did not come installed. It uses 28 cutters. They give you 30, and they give you a lot of extra screws as well. That was kind of nice. They give you 2 tools for installation. I'm not sure why that is, but you know, it's nice to have the extra at any rate. So I'm trying to figure out the orientation right now. They're numbered, so I'm trying to put all the number 1s at me, and then I'm going to get them all set in. And being that this is about as exciting as sanding, I am going to speed this up here in a minute and get through all of them. So bear with me as I knock them out. So I'm getting started in earnest in getting this thing replaced. So first thing I'm going to do is take the blade guard off. That was pretty straightforward. I've watched a lot of videos about this, but all of the videos I watched were the next generation rigid jointer after mine. Mine is the 0600, and now I guess they're all the 0601 or subsequent models. And it's not exactly the same. There's something I missed, and that is different on mine from the 601. It is the stud that holds the fence on is double nutted underneath. The 601 that I saw in the video, they loosened it up and it slid off. That is not the way this happens. I didn't figure that out to start with, so all I'm doing right now is just straight up loosening up the bracket that mounts the fence to the joiner itself, and I'm going to pull the whole assembly off. And to make it a little bit easier, to get myself a little bit better view of it, I'm removing the back blade guard as well. So one of the crazy things about this project was, even though I had some problems, it was still an amazingly easy swap out to do. This was not hard at all, and if you even have a tiny amount of mechanical aptitude, you can knock this out yourself. Alright, so I'm finally getting the whole assembly off, got it out of the way, and now I'm going to take off the blade guard. It's just held on with 4 little screws, and here it is. It's off. So I'm going to pop off the belt, and then there's 2 set screws that hold the pulley onto the shaft. Loosen those up, and I will pull that off. I'm trying to pop the belt off so I didn't pinch my finger. Here I go, loosening the screws, the set screws. And there it slid right off. No problems. So now it's time to loosen up the 2 bolts that go through the body of the joiner up into the brackets that hold the cutter head into the joiner itself. They use a 14mm wrench, and it's in a tight, kind of a tight spot. One of them, after you loosen it up, the one I'm on, that side that I'm working on now, stays captured by the body of the joiner. And on the other side, once you loosen it up, it drops down into the wood chute. I'm getting it just about loose on this side, and I thought I had the other side done, and I found out I didn't. And I had to go back around and get it off as well. Yeah, it is pretty tight, and I've got very big fingers, so it made it that much harder. Alright, so it's off, and the cutter head is out. So I stopped at my favorite store, and I bought myself a fairly cheap gear puller kit. And I've got the bearing puller on there right now, and I'm getting it tightened up and getting ready to pull off the bracket off the one side that captures the bearing, and that also mounts it onto the lathe. So those have to be pulled off and reinstalled onto the new cutter head. So I gotten it off. Now I'm reinstalling those brackets onto the new cutter head. I've got the whole thing wrapped in painter's tape so I don't cut my fingers. And again, this is super easy. It slides right back in. Getting the screws back into the brackets was pretty easy. I reached up in the wood chute and the discharge chute and was able to get that side in pretty easy. It didn't take very much hunting to get it there, but it went in. So I'm working. I had to push it in a little bit, and I think I have it threaded, and I'm just getting it all done. Now I'm moving on to the other side, and that side went on a lot faster than I thought also. Take the 14mm wrench, tighten them up. And then you can remove the tape. Something people think this is a very satisfying thing to do. It was all right. So since I was there working on the lathe, I decided I was going to do some extra maintenance as well. So here I'm resurfacing the bed. It has never been taken care of like this, and I've had this joiner for probably 30 years. It was when Rigid just started being sold at Home Depot. This was the first joiner they sold. I think I got it in that first year. And I may have done it at some point over the years, but I'll tell you what, it hasn't happened very often. So now after I sanded it, I used some mineral spirits to clean it off, and now I'm mounting the bracket back on because I want to make sure it got cleaned off as well. I'm tightening it back up. This takes a little bit of finesse to make sure you get it nice and even with the bed. So after I got the bracket mounted, I used some paste wax on the whole thing, rubbed it on, and then buffed it out, make sure it was nice and slippery. So when I put that bracket on, I actually did things in a little bit of a bass-ackwards way. I should have mounted my pulley and gotten it back on and putting the blade guard on first, which I did not do. Now I'm playing catch up. So I put the key in, I just put the key on, now I'm putting the pulley back on, and I'm going to get the belt remounted. And it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge. Put the blade guard on after the fact because it's underneath that bracket. So I ended up having to go get myself a stubby screwdriver, and I don't believe I showed that, but I did get it all tightened up. Now I'm trying to get that belt back on again so I don't pinch my fingers. That's always a possibility. And so I got it on, but I hadn't tightened the set screw yet. I wanted to make sure the belt was aligned. And I'm doing that by eye, but now I'm getting the 2 set screws tight, and we'll be able to move on to the next step after that, which will be to put the belt guard on and then replace the fence. So I got the pulley tight, now I'm putting the belt guard back on. Got those 2 front screws on, and after the fact, which I won't show you, I did get the stubby screwdriver to get the back side tight underneath the fence bracket. Right, time to put the fence back on. I'm lining that stud up through the slot. That was the part that I messed up on. And it's double nutted. It's got a big washer, a big thick washer, so it slides on the bottom of the bracket. And you want to put the double nuts on, but you want to check the tightness so that you know that the cam lever is grabbing, and that's what I'm doing there. I was testing it out. Now I'm also checking the set on my fence to make sure that the stops are straight, and I found out that they are in fact perfectly straight, and I'm just getting it tightened up and ready to move on to the next thing, which put that back blade guard on. And again, that's just held on with 2 little sheet metal screws. And now it's time to put the main blade guard on. You have to, there's a spring mounted stud you have to turn, and the bottom of the shaft is forked, so it'll slide over a spline that's on the inside. So I got it tightened up to where I wanted it, and now I'm just putting the set screw back in, and you'll see that it works just fine. And it's just on with a little Phillips screw. And that's it, it's done. So another bit of maintenance I'm going to do is, I've known this has been a problem for a long time, is the ground stud had broken off the cord, and you know, they say it's always the carpenter's house that has the work done last. It's the same thing with us electricians. So I finally, since I'm working on it, I said, yeah, it's finally time to get the plug changed out, and that's what I did. And so now I got the joiner put back in place. I got it plugged back in. I've got some floor outlets I had installed when I had my pad poured. And I reconnected my dust collector hose. And now it's time to give it a try. I got a piece of white oak. It's about 3 inches wide, and I'm going to flatten one face of it. And I will tell you, it is a lot quieter than it had been before, and it felt very, very smooth going through. I was tickled with how it cut, and the quality was amazing. I'm very, very happy that I did this. So I think I run it through a total of 3 times. That's twice. And here goes the 3rd time. And that should be it. I will say, as a test, I was doing a pretty heavy cut. I think it was about 1/8 of an inch thick, the cut, which was, that's pretty heavy. And again, it did it without any problems. Check the cut, and it, like I said, it is beautiful, nice and flat. And now I'm going to do the edge. I'm going to put the nice surface part of the board up against the fence, and I will join an edge, and we'll see how that comes out. Through nice and easy. Run it through one more time. And it is done. Again, it even went through a knot, and I'm very, very happy with the quality of the cut. While I'm cleaning up, let's do a final reconciliation here. All of the work, removing the old cutter head, getting the parts prepared, putting it back on, I don't think I had more than an hour and a half in the entire job, and that was with me not really doing things in the right order. So you could do it even more efficiently. That also included resurfacing the bed and changing the plug out. So I feel pretty good about that, especially since, you know, I didn't, it was not flawless. I did have some mistakes that I had to overcome that were my own problem. But no, it's all good. So would I recommend this? I absolutely would. The price was okay. It was $300, and you know, the quality is very, very nice. It seemed like you know, I haven't been able to compare this against any other one since it's the only one I've ever had. It was very high quality. They gave you extra cutter heads, extra screws. So it's a good deal. All right. Thank you all for watching. If you think you've gotten anything out of this, please click like and subscribe. I'd appreciate that. Also, leave me comments because I answer each and every one. Everybody have a great day. Bye-bye.